They say it's a kiss. It isn't. You feel it before you even see it. That sudden, wet touch. A tongue against your hand, your arm, sometimes your cheek. It happens so quickly you don't really register it. A momentary surprise, almost a tickle. And then, like clockwork, you laugh it off. Because everyone told you it's just a dog's kiss. That's what dogs do, right? They lick, they slobber, they shower you with sloppy affection. You smile, you wipe it away, you let them keep going. It feels simple, harmless, even sweet. Somehow, it's comforting to think of it as a sign of love, an echo of their puppy days. You picture a tiny pup licking its littermates or its mother, warm and safe. And now, that same instinct turned to you, their new family. But then it happens again, and again. Sometimes they linger. Sometimes they lick you in the same spot, over and over. Eyes locked on you with an intensity you can't quite place. It doesn't feel random anymore. You start to wonder, why here? Why now? Why this look? This gentle persistence? No one really stops to ask. We're so quick to brand it as a dog's kiss that we barely think about what it could be. Is it always a sign of affection? Or is there something more? Something you've been too busy to notice? A dog's tongue is a powerful tool. It's how they taste the world, sure, but it's also how they read the world. The faintest trace of salt, the scent that sits on your skin, the stories you carry. Maybe they're trying to tell you something. Maybe they're trying to learn something. Or maybe, just maybe, they sense something you cannot. It's easy to shrug it off. It's easier to keep calling it a kiss because that feels warm, uncomplicated, safe. But dogs rarely do things without reason. There is almost always a reason, even if you haven't seen it yet. So the next time you feel that tongue, sudden and wet, pressing into your hand, pause, look at your dog, and ask yourself, what are you really trying to say? What if that lick wasn't for you at all? We've grown up with the idea that dogs lick to show affection, that they are basically giving us a friendly kiss, wagging their tails, letting us know they love us. It's a story that feels good, so we repeat it. Maybe your parents told you that. Maybe a friend. Maybe you even told your own children, trying to explain why the dog planted a wet tongue on someone's cheek. He's just giving you a kiss. It's quick, it's easy, and it seems to answer the question. And if that's all there was to it, you'd have no reason to wonder more. But most of us never pause to challenge the story. We never question why a dog might choose to lick at certain moments, in certain places, or with a certain urgency. We assume they're happy. We assume they're friendly. We assume they're just being silly. And we welcome it, or at least tolerate it, because it feels innocent. Sometimes we even encourage it. People train dogs to kiss on command. They giggle when the dog slobbers on a visitor. They think it's cute, a party trick. But if you look closely, you'll see something stranger. Your dog doesn't always lick everyone the same way. They don't always lick with the same rhythm or focus. And they don't always look carefree when they do it. Some dogs lick when they're anxious. Some lick when they're confused. Some lick when they pick up on your emotions, stress, fear, even a change in your scent. And sometimes dogs lick the exact spot where you're hurt, or where something deeper is changing inside you. But we laugh it off. We miss it. We push it away with a towel and call it sloppy love. Because it's easier to believe that. Easier than admitting a dog might be noticing what even we cannot see in ourselves. So we keep repeating the story, generation after generation. It's just a kiss. Simple, comfortable, safe. But the truth? It's rarely that simple. Because if a dog is licking you, they might be trying to tell you something no one else dares to say. There is a language you cannot hear. A dog speaks it through 1,000 small gestures. A glance, a paw, a stillness, and through the tongue. When your dog licks you, It is not always simple affection. It is their way of gathering data, studying you, searching for changes they cannot explain. Because your skin, your sweat, your scent, they shift with your mood, your health, your heart. Dogs have noses more powerful than any machine, but their tongues confirm what the nose begins to question. That salty taste on your wrist? It might carry hormones, stress chemicals, tiny signals of how you feel. Dogs sense fear before you name it. They taste anxiety before you confess it. And yes, they even taste illness before you know it exists. They are scanning you. They are reading you. They are decoding a message your own mind has hidden from itself. When they focus on one spot, again and again, it could be because something about that place is changing. An infection under the skin. A wound that has not closed. A deeper illness stirring, sending strange signals through your pores. It feels eerie, doesn't it? To think the dog is testing you, gently, through every stroke of the tongue. Not out of fear, not out of disgust, but out of a loyalty so deep it bends toward protectiveness. They cannot speak, they cannot write, but they can lick. And through that simple act, they check on you, again and again, hoping you are still well. Maybe it looks messy, maybe it feels silly, but to a dog, there is nothing silly about it. It is their duty, their instinct, their unbreakable promise to keep you safe, even from things you cannot see. And maybe if you look back, you will remember. They licked you before the bad news came. They licked you before you went to the doctor. They licked you before you even noticed something was wrong. Because they knew. They always know. Think back. Think of the times you were breaking, even if you tried to hide it. The days when your mind was unraveling, or your body was quietly failing you. When you sat alone, telling no one, thinking no one could possibly understand, your dog was there, and the tongue found you, again and again, sometimes soft, almost hesitant, other times desperate, as if trying to pull you back from a ledge you could not see. You might have been annoyed, pushed them away, called it gross, silly, pointless, but they stayed. Because that was their only language, their only chance to warn you, to comfort you, to check you. There is something deeply human in wanting to hide pain. We lock it away. We bury it under a routine, a smile, a polite, "I'm fine." We want the world to see us as strong, capable, unbroken. But a dog never buys the mask. They are too honest for that. They have no interest in your illusions. They are tuned to the smallest fracture in your armor. So they lick. They lick because your skin tastes different when you are afraid, because your sweat grows sharp when you are sick, because your pulse, just under the surface, skips in ways they have learned to fear. They lick because they cannot bear to see you slip away, even a little. They lick because they do not know how else to reach you. They lick because they love you more purely than you might ever love yourself. When you look back on those moments, do you see it now? Do you see how their eyes watched you unblinking? How their tails stilled, their breathing slowed, their tongue worked its way across your trembling hands? It wasn't a game. It wasn't just a habit. It was their vow. A quiet, unspoken promise. I will stay with you. I will check on you. I will carry what you cannot. That is what a dog's tongue remembers. That is what a dog's tongue protects. Maybe you never thought of it that way. Maybe you still want to believe it's just a silly kiss, a leftover puppy habit. It feels easier to keep things light, to smile and move on. But what if you paused? What if you allowed the idea that your dog is paying closer attention to you than anyone else ever has? What would that mean about you? It would mean there are things you have missed about yourself, things your dog saw, things you tried to ignore. Every time they came near, tongue brushing your skin, you were being scanned. Not judged, not criticized, simply seen. Maybe you pushed through long days, telling yourself you were strong. Maybe you swallowed your tears and kept working, kept cooking, kept pretending. Maybe you thought no one could tell how close to breaking you really were. But your dog did. They watched the tiny changes in your breath, the subtle tremor in your hands, the way you sighed without knowing. And their tongue spoke for them. They asked a question you refused to ask yourself. Are you okay? It can feel uncomfortable, realizing a dog might know more of your truths than your closest friend. That they know how heartbreak tastes on your skin. That they know what fear smells like at 2 in the morning. That they know what grief leaves behind, even when you shower it away. We don't like to feel exposed. We don't like to believe anyone, even a dog, might know our secrets. But maybe that's the greatest gift they offer. They know you, fully, and they stay. No matter what you're carrying, no matter how you try to hide, they are right there, licking the story from your hands, reading the lines you thought were invisible. So next time they come closer, tongue ready, don't rush them away. Take a second, look into their eyes, and wonder, what do they see in me today? Because they might be trying to remind you of something you lost track of. Your own softness, your own wounds, your own need to be cared for. So here you are, watching your dog with new eyes. A tongue that once felt like a childish prank, now a signal, an echo of loyalty, an ancient instinct repurposed for modern love. You might never know exactly what they taste on your skin. You might never be able to measure what they sense in your pulse, your sweat, your sadness. But you can know this. They are watching over you, every time. They use what nature gave them, their nose, their tongue, their unspoken presence, to guard you from things you cannot name. They do it without hesitation, without expecting a thank you, without needing you to understand. If you brush them away, they forgive you. If you laugh and tell them to stop, they try again later. Because their loyalty is too big for one moment, too patient for one rejection. Maybe you have overlooked it. Maybe you have been too busy, too tired, too human to see what they have been trying to say. That you matter to them. That you are theirs to protect, no matter how small or invisible the danger. They will taste your heartbreak. They will taste your triumph. They will taste your exhaustion, your joy, your confusion. And they will keep licking, like a gentle nurse, like a quiet friend, like family. If that doesn't move you, pause for a second. Imagine a creature who has no words, no explanations, yet still tries to warn you, to soothe you, to comfort you, all with a single gesture. That is the kind of love we rarely deserve, but so often receive. So next time you feel that sudden tongue against your hand, don't be so quick to wipe it away. Let it remind you that someone is always watching out for you, even in ways you can barely comprehend. And if you've ever had a moment when your dog's tongue seemed to know more than you did, if they licked you when you were hurting, if they licked you when no one else noticed, tell us in the comments below. Share that memory. Share that mystery. Because somewhere, another dog lover is wondering the same thing right now. And your story might help them see their dog with gentler, wiser eyes.